to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order, arms. As commander of the American Legion Post 23, I welcome the group that's coming in to visit our great city. One for the fallen. I've never heard of you to be great trooper with you. But we're all in this together, and we have had others that have come to this post, and we have done whatever we can to help them out. If you have not been in northern part of New Mexico, it's kind of a unique part of the country. You may have seen. I don't know where you people are from, but we have many veterans that have served from this part of the country, starting with the Civil War, First World War, Second World War, Korea, Vietnam, and I'm sure you all from different parts of the earth now doing whatever you're doing. So welcome. And Rick, get your next so you have somebody else.
Yes, sir. Again, I want to welcome you all. This is an awesome undertaking that you've taken to honor all of the fallen, many of which are represented here in our communities of New Mexico. Our veterans here, like Ben says, are tremendous. I think somebody told me at one time that 80% of our population has served, and of course, all the families here are represented by that. So I welcome you. We honor you. Thank you for choosing us for a stop tonight. And you can start with your ceremony now, please.
Honor guard at ease. Dismissed. Get mine up.
They're rusty.
Wow, this is incredible. It's just really nothing short of incredible. We have been on the road for 32 days, and we have been traveling, where's my library and my recorder, 1,491 miles we have run over the last 32 days. And I will tell you that we have not had this kind of reception in the last month that we've been traveling. I haven't seen one fire truck before today. And I am just, give yourselves a hand, absolutely. To be welcomed this way, I will tell you, is energizing to all of us that are on the team and traveling on this very special mission. And I'm going to take a few minutes and tell you what that mission is, so you know, Ben, exactly why we're here and what we're doing and why it's so important. Because what we're doing is something that's historic. It's really never been done before, and I don't know if anybody will ever do it again. And it's a little bit different than just saying, well, we're just running across America, we're biking across America for our military, or we're motorcycling across. There's a lot of people that do different things different ways. But what we have done is very, very unique. We have taken and compiled a list of every fallen service member from the last 18 years by name, starting with the USS Cole, which was October 12, 2000. And we have accumulated every single service member who died while serving, whether they died in combat or whether they died in training or whether they died through the hidden wounds of PTSD. Every one of those service members has been added to a complete list, which now totals over 20,000. And I've been told also that the day that we left, on April 7th, we started in Fort Irwin, California. You may not know where that is. It's east of LA, about an hour and a half, and north of Barstow, about 35 minutes. Now that gives you kind of an idea. Since we left on April 7th, 3 training accidents happened at Fort Irwin, where we've had 3 more deaths, just from the place that we left. Since the day that we left, we've added probably at least 50 more casualties across the United States in general. So names are still being added to our 20,000. So what are we doing with these 20,000 names? We're not just saying, hey, we're just running for all of our fallen soldiers. No, we're actually taking those names and dividing them out mile by mile. And every mile we're stopping and we're calling those names out loud. Why? Because it's the power of the voice. It's not just keeping the names inside, it's actually speaking them out loud. For who to hear? Well, for the air, of course, for the spirit, but also because we're recording this. And we're making sure that those who may be following are hearing those names wherever they may be. Because this is a live broadcast that we're doing every single mile. So nothing like this has ever been done in the history of our country. To take so many names and put them in a specific place and call them out loud. And calling attention to the fact that these men and women throughout the last 18 years are not just statistics. They are actual names of family members who had moms and dads and spouses in some cases, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles. Each one had a family unit who loved them. Rick mentioned many coming from this community alone. So you know and have spoken, hopefully, those names in your community of those who have given the ultimate sacrifice. And so our mission is to call every one of these names out loud, as long as it took us. And we had calculated that it's going to take us 5 months. 5 months every day, an average of 50 miles a day, an average of 10 hours a day, that we are just moving at 5 miles an hour to honor these men and women across the United States. We're traveling through 19 different states. We've already been through California, Arizona, 12 days in California, 12 days in Arizona, a day in Utah, a half a day in Colorado because we skirted the 4 corners and came into New Mexico, where we have been warmly welcomed, wherever we went, mostly by the Navajo Nation, which we've been embraced by throughout much of the territory that we travel, and we're very, very grateful for. And this is I think our 4th day into New Mexico, and traveling through to Texas and across through to Arlington National Cemetery, where many of our men and women from the War on Terror are buried. And there we're going to have a final ceremony on August the 5th of this year at 2 o'clock. So I know many people are going to be there. It's going to be an incredibly large gathering as we take that final walk to section 60, where I hope that we will call out the last name of the man or woman who gave his life that very day. And so we call this the most comprehensive fallen veteran tribute trail ever compiled, because we're going to be adding names all the way to the day that we start. And so everyone who's here, this is an historic moment, because we're not doing this again. This is the only time that we're going to do this. The amount of organization that it took is hard to even describe. But you can imagine that every day we have got to be somewhere. We've got to eat something. We have to sleep somewhere. We have to engage somewhere in the community and have a ceremony that is honorable, so that we will never forget those that we ran for the previous days, those that we ran for that day, and those that are to come. It's very, very important to us. We take it very seriously. What happens at every mile is, depending on the number of runners, we carry flags with us, full-size flags. If you saw the flags coming in, so we carry our United States flag, because it's the country the service members that we're honoring. If we can, we carry the state flag of the state that we're running in. So we're honoring the state as we're running through. Some of those heroes may not be from the state, but some of them will be. We carry a flag called the Honor and Sacrifice flag, which is a flag that our organization developed on the 15th anniversary of 9/11. And it is a flag that honors the fallen men and women of the first responder community, public safety. So our fallen firefighters, our fallen police, and our fallen emergency. And the fourth flag that we carry is the Honor and Remember flag, which we established 10 years ago to be our nation's symbol of remembrance for all of our service members from every branch of service, from every war, every generation to the beginning of our country. And that is the flag that we carry most of the time when there is only one runner, because those are the ones that we are honoring and remembering. And what we've done with these 20,000 is we've taken and chronologically determined what their date of death is. So this is how what we're going to do tonight is we're going to read all of the names of those that died in a certain period of time, but we started with 2000. I said the USS Cole, and then every day of death after that is a unique mile. And so we are up to 2005 now. We've covered the years of 2000, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're now running into 2005. What are our dates?
We ran for February 20th, 2005 to April 12th, 2005.
So between February 20th and April 12th of 2005 are the names that we ran for today coming into Cuba. So as we read these names, and the number is
209.
209 names. 209 men and women gave their life between those dates that I mentioned. And so as we continue east, we will continue to take the dates and honor those dates as we go across the country. And so that's why some of your heroes may be mentioned and some may not, because if they died within those dates, then they will be mentioned. If they didn't, they'll be mentioned, they were already mentioned, or they will be mentioned in the future as we carry on. Until I mention the very last hero who gave their life will be honored in Arlington Cemetery. And so, together with you here tonight, we have the honor of, we don't always have this kind of a audience with us, honestly. Sometimes at the end of the day, we're in our RV with just our crew, and we're reading the names by ourselves out loud, because we don't have this kind of welcome, and we don't have the facility that's been offered to us. And so, expressing to you how much this means, not only because we've got people here, but because you have an opportunity to share with us those names that we honored today. Because tonight, what you're doing is you are actually standing in for the families who can't be with us. Those families across America whose loved ones died between those dates in 2005 are not here with us, but you are. And so you're able to stand in and hear these names for these families and how important that is. They may be watching. We are going to broadcast the reading the names. So hopefully families will be watching. If not, they'll see it in the future. But nevertheless, we have an opportunity to give a voice to these names that we will be reading tonight. So I'm going to ask my runners to come forward. It's our tradition that our runners read the names. Dan, you want to pass that to Augie, maybe? And I want you to really 2 minutes. There's 209 names. There's 209 names. It's going to take a few minutes. So I ask that you silence your cell phones, please, because one of the things we don't want to happen is to be a break in the moment and the reverence of what we do. One of the things I want to say, though, before you start reading, is that I was mentioning that they carry the 4 flags. As they come to the mile marker where they're going to stop, they're also carrying sets of small American flags and honor and remember flags. 1 set for every name that's going to be read at that mile. And so what happens when they come to that mile is that everyone comes to attention. And we do this reverently and respectfully and consistently every mile across every day across this country, so that every family has the same respect paid to their loved one. So we stop and we come to attention. And the next thing that's called out is, are there any Gold Star families present? Because we want to make sure that if anyone is there who has lost a loved one, that we acknowledge them. And this is consistently said every single mile. And once that acknowledgement is made, then we read, this mile is dedicated to those service members who lost their lives on a particular day. And we read that day out loud. And then after that, we read the name of everyone who is on that placard. We carried those names with us as we ran that mile. And once those names are read, then those flags that they've been carrying, and sometimes it's as many today, we had 19, I think was the most for today, that had died in one single day. Sometimes a cluster of flags. And once those names are read, we plant a set of flags in the ground for every one of them, one at a time. And then, when that's done, everyone comes back to attention, and they render a hand salute in honor of those names and those families. And then the next placards are picked up for the next heroes, for the next mile, and we go on to honor as we continue our day. And that is how it goes, mile after mile. About 10 minutes it takes to get to the next mile. Day after day, all day long. I want to give you a picture of what happens, because many of you haven't seen that. And after tonight, I'm hoping that you'll go to our website and click on the live feed and actually watch us live as we exit out of Cuba and we head towards Albuquerque.
Sergeant George Michael Rose Jr., United States Army. Specialist Paul Anthony Nicholas, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Donald Dwight Bostick Jr., United States Army. Staff Sergeant David F. Day, United States Army National Guard. First Lieutenant Jason G. Timmerman, United States Army National Guard. Sergeant Jesse M. Lotka, United States Army National Guard. Corporal John T. Olson, United States Marine Corps. Airman Shane Michael Perkins, United States Navy. Petty Officer Third Class John Tavius Antoine Dawson, United States Navy. Sergeant Lisa Harrison Williams, United States Army. Tech Sergeant Willie Andrew Watson III, United States Air Force. Tech Sergeant Dale Anthony Greer, United States Air Force. Lance Corporal Trevor D. Aston, United States Marine Corps Reserves. Petty Officer Nomer Morales Santiago, United States Navy. Specialist Trevor Wade Burrell, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Eric M. Stefani, United States Army. Sergeant Nicholas J. Olivier, United States Army National Guard. Sergeant Troy Dean Ernest, United States Army. Specialist Stephen Gary Erickson, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Alexander B. Crackle, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Daniel G. Gresham, United States Army. Corporal Jacob C. Palmatier, United States Army. Specialist Michael S. Deems, United States Army. Private First Class Chasan S. Henry, United States Army. Private First Class Colby M. Fornan, United States Army. Specialist Adam Noel Brewer, United States Army. Specialist Jason L. Mosky, United States Army. Command Sergeant Major Isaac Bernard White, United States Army. Private Alex Jude Wall, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer Renee Joe Robertson, United States Navy. Petty Officer First Class Daniel Robert Nicholas Sr., United States Navy. Sergeant Janice Marie Brito, United States Army. Captain Dion Joseph Bermaz, United States Army. Chief Warrant Officer 3, Aaron William Cowan, United States Army. Private First Class Min Soo Choi, United States Army. Private Landon S. Giles, United States Army. Lance Corporal Brian Ernest Lenny, Jr., United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Andrew W. Nowaki, United States Marine Corps Reserves. Private First Class Danny L. Anderson, United States Army. Second Lieutenant Richard Brian Janu, United States Army National Guard. Staff Sergeant David Eugene Rutledge, Jr., United States Army. Sergeant Julio E. Negron, United States Army. Sergeant Lisbeth Robels, United States Army. Petty Officer 3rd Class Bruce Jeremy Burgess, United States Navy. Captain Terrence Lorenzo Wright, United States Army. Sergeant Brian John Wolfe, United States Army. Specialist Azhar Ali, United States Army National Guard. Specialist Wade Foy Gwynn, United States Army National Guard. Private First Class Carlton Dennis Newman Jr., United States Army. Sergeant First Class Michael Dean Jones, United States Army. Specialist Adriana N. Salem, United States Army. Specialist Wade Michael Twyman, United States Army. Corporal Stephen M. McGowan, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Juan M. Solorio, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Donald W. Icao, United States Army. Sergeant Seth K. Garcia, United States Army National Guard. Sergeant Joe Nathaniel Bradshaw, United States Army. Lance Corporal Joshua Lee Johnson, United States Marine Corps. Private Osman Mohammed Abduram, United States Army. Private Brandon Jamal Fluker, United States Army. Airman First Class Ashley Michelle Bowles, United States Air Force. Fireman Apprentice Travis Ray Archer, United States Navy. Private Maurice Chevalier Smith, United States Army. Private Jason Giovanni Stewart, United States Army. Private First Class Michael David Wolf, United States Army. Specialist Michael W. Franklin, United States Army. Sergeant Andrew L. Bossert, United States Army. Master Sergeant James Walker Smith, United States Air Force. Specialist Stephen Ray Wildman, United States Army. Chief Petty Officer Bernardino Jimenez de la Cruz, United States Navy. Specialist Matthew A. Kosh, United States Army. Specialist David Charles McCumber, United States Army.
Petty Officer First Class Alec Mazur, United States Navy. Sergeant William David Blahoot, Jr., United States Army. Sergeant First Class Sarah Ann Windley, United States Army. Specialist Nicholas E. Wilson, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Donald D. Griffith, Jr., United States Army. Specialist Diana Nicole Burris, United States Army. Specialist Jonas DeQuincy